I think we are looking at the new shiny toy, AI, and we should do, but a lot of basics are still not, data-driven, science-driven.
So do you think that AI should be used to augment marketing strategy, or do we need to rebuild marketing strategy altogether when using AI?
No, I think there I have a bit of a different view. We talk about AI in marketing, but if you work with scientists, like I've done in the past decade, and you work from whatever there is evidence for, then there is a shitload of evidence that doesn't get used by marketeers. If you look at Byron Sharp, for instance, or Jenny Romaniuk's work on how brands grow, better brand metrics, Peter Field, Les Binet on the long and short of it, on how to spend your, let's say, your media investments. A nice book by Wiemer Snijders, Eat Your Greens. It's also about science-based in marketing. I think we are looking at the new shiny toy, AI, and we should do, but a lot of basics are still not, data-driven, science-driven in the average daily work of marketeers. A lot of gut feel, a lot of I'm the highest paid guy, so I make the call on the ad. Yeah.
So do we need to rebuild strategy altogether?
I think there are, if you look like the Ehrenberg Bass Institute in where Byron Sharp works, there's a lot of evidence present on how to organize this in a good, solid way. I think if you take that as a basis, then you can add layers of, content creation or look at the strategy all together. But I think we still have so much work to do in the basics that, adding AI, I'm not saying we shouldn't add AI because that would be shooting myself in the foot. But,
But it needs to be a foundational layer and as a basis of your marketing strategy.
Yeah, and I think the science is not in there. So we know things like mental availability, physical availability, the percentage of people that are in the market for your product. Though there we have laws, we have science, but marketeers are really bad at using that, right? They talk about a new campaign, they talk about maybe the new shiny toy. It needs to be on TikTok, it needs to be on social. We need to go on TV, it always needs to be there. And we have metrics that tell you otherwise. And I'm always amazed at the hot topics for marketeers and then looking at the actual data of media usage, certain media types, how they overestimate, or sometimes, like with YouTube, they completely underestimate it, right? We have YouTube, people creating content, it's all over the place, it's huge. It now turns into connected TV, meaning that you look at YouTube on your TV. Most marketers still look at these different individual silos, right? And don't understand these people create stuff. And as an advertiser, you need to be preferably in those areas where stuff happens. But we still look at, okay, I'm going to do so much on TV and maybe some radio and then some online ads. So I think a lot of stuff still needs to be done on the scientific solid basis that is out there. And that I think if I would go back to being a CMO, I would train and focus more on those elements and then pick a couple of new interesting fields like AI to augment them.
So if you were a CMO tomorrow and you have defined, I want to harness that power of AI, where do you start? How do you go about it?
Well, first you call us. No, I think I would, just like I said, first of all, the trying to find an application, like not the shiny new toy. I think it's comparable to VR, right? We have all these stories about VR, and then so where are all these stories now, right? And I think it's a typical example. You ask an audience who's ever done VR, everybody raises their hand. You ask them, okay, how many people have a VR glasses, right? And then It's a little bit not so much people anymore. And then you ask them who got them and who actually bought them. And so you have 10 people left in the audience. And then you ask them who has put these glasses on for longer than 10 minutes. And there's practically no one left in the audience. And that shows you how this new technology quite often is adopted. So I would turn it around and I wouldn't look at implementing AI. I would say, okay, what are my initial core processes that I have? Like it's content creation, it's research, it's briefing, those. And I would then individually say, okay, we have a couple of things that we know AI is really good at or will be really good at in the next year and a half. Why don't we make individual projects to see in those streams that we have? So we have people that make the brief, what and where and how can we use it? We have an agency that makes these creative. How can we sort of use technology to speed up our process? I think doing the first time right can be very much sped up if you look at the interaction you have with your agency, for instance, right? That's a simple approach to make your life better. So I wouldn't look at implementing AI. I would look at what are the processes that we have. That's one. And the second part would be where do we know AI is capable to make a difference? And then make a confrontational matrix and say, okay, where could that potentially be? Let's do a small POC and see which one gives us the biggest traction in 2-3 months' time.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and then you can say, okay, from here on, this would be nice to put in the roadmap, and not start we're going to have an AI task force that's going to look at, right? And we put them in the corner of the company, and all the whiz kids going to play around with all the beautiful technology, but then I don't know how we're going to implement any of it.